white women who disappoint other white women.
What happened to Sarah Sanders last night was disgusting, and I say that as a former president of the White House Correspondents Association. To go after her physical appearance, to say some of the things that happened, it obviously is so far beyond the line that I hope and pray the association apologizes to Sarah Sanders.
Well, Ed Henry is joining us right now. He's the chief national correspondent for Fox News and the author of 42 Faith, the rest of the Jackie Robinson story.
Good morning.
So and there's your book right there.
Thank you very much.
So after you made that statement yesterday on Fox and Friends, Weekend Edition, where you were calling for an apology, she kind of came out and said a little something. Is that enough for your money?
No, and look, I'm not going to drag this out and make it about me, or it has to be an apology strong enough. But look, it's not enough. It's simply not enough to say this is not in keeping with the spirit of the dinner. Let's call it what it was. We invited Sarah Sanders to sit on the dais. We invited her to dinner, and we treated her rudely, crudely, disrespectfully. It was disgusting. It was vile. Enough is enough. And we played right into President Trump's hands, where he can now say this is fake news and you guys are disrespectful and don't understand the heartland of the country. And guess what? After that routine, we do not understand.
Ed, you were the president of this organization. Do you, when you're choosing a speaker, you probably look back at their history. Do you read their speeches beforehand?
Yeah, I picked Conan O'Brien, and some people thought, well, look, Conan is too safe or this or that. I personally liked him. I talked to him confidentially. And you know what? It plays right into this. I knew he had to get up Monday morning and look his audience in the eye Monday night. And I was the president representing not just the White House Correspondents Association, but Fox News, and Barack Obama was on the dais. And I knew that given all the tension with President Obama, if I picked a comedian who trashed him or trashed Jay Carney or were disrespectful, I'd pay a price. Fox would pay a price. And so I picked Conan O'Brien in part because I knew that he got it. He was a professional. And you know what? He got up and realized that Monday night he had to face his audience, pro-Obama people, anti-Obama people. In this case, they picked somebody that I'd never heard of until Saturday, who's basically part of the resistance and is going to make her bones now and all kinds of money out of beating up on Sarah Sanders. And you don't want to be in that position.
Margaret Tlaib is from Bloomberg. She is the acting. This is the year she's now done with it. She was president, and she responded to you. Let's listen.
We've heard from Fox's Ed Henry, a past president of the association, NBC's Andrea Mitchell a few minutes ago, saying that association should apologize to Sanders. Will there be an apology?
What I told you is what I have already told Sarah Sanders, that I speak for myself in the association and that my interest is in the spirit of unity and in the spirit of serious journalism. Again, my interest overwhelmingly was in unifying the country, and I understand that we may have fallen a little bit short on that goal.
You could sense, Ed, I was sitting right next to you. You could sense when they were done. She never said, thank you, Michelle. Have a great night, everyone. She just said, it's over, basically.
She wanted to get out of there, Margaret, and I understand. I like and respect Margaret. I saw her like 5 or 10 minutes after the dinner ended in a hallway, and she looked deeply concerned about what had happened. I praised her for her speech because I think Margaret has been a great president of WHCA, very representative. And I heard you, Brian, earlier say her speech about her parents being immigrants, a Democrat or Republican, was very unifying and was terrific. But then the thing went off the rails. It just simply went off the rails. This comedian was ridiculous, absurd. And look at that. When asked about apologizing, she was sort of laughing about it. And when you have Andrea Mitchell and Mika Brzezinski at MSNBC agreeing with what somebody at Fox says, just simply apologize and move on. And all I'm saying is separate this wonderful, long-standing organization, the White House Correspondents Association, from this vile comedian and just move on. And they have to work with Sarah Sanders. Sarah Sanders stands up for the press corps, despite their disagreements, to give us access to the president.
Well, Ed, this comedian may have actually killed it off. There's a headline to that effect on the Washington Post and Drudge right now. And about a half an hour ago, the president tweeted this out. The White House Correspondents' Dinner is dead, as we know it. This was a total disaster and an embarrassment to our great country and all that it stands for. Fake news is alive and well and beautifully represented on Saturday night. And Ed, you know that while they were sitting in that room at the Washington Hilton, the President of the United States was 1,000 miles away in Washington Township, Michigan. and he made the case that that room is filled with a bunch of lefty comics and lefty journalists, and that couldn't have been more clear to the people of America who looked in at the two different views.
Steve, to your point, I talked to another former president of WHA yesterday. I won't use his name just simply because we were having a private conversation, but he works not at Fox, but an organization you know well. And he basically said, we played right into the president's hands. We gave him the script. And that's what deeply disappointed this other former president. And that's why I think the association, maybe they've got one more shot at it today before the briefing. The statement yesterday just simply didn't fully address this.
You asked for,
just
her to apologize.
Say, Sarah, we're sorry. Sarah, we're sorry, and we have a good working relationship with you, and try to mend the dinner instead of end it.
Because, it looked like she walked over to Sarah at the end, and y'all were there. You and Brian were there, and she was consoling her. She was rubbing her back.
She tried. Maybe she should have said something in the moment, but I understand when you're up there and you're, nervous about what had just played out.
But the thing is, you can only be so understanding because it's anyone from The Daily Show was not going to be fair and balanced when it came to the president. So as soon as I saw the title underneath, and she said, I don't look at the scripts. She goes, I don't look because we're about the First Amendment, so we're not going to edit what she's going to say.
Well,
but you know what she does.
Let me tell you a quick story, which is when Conan O'Brien was rehearsing the day of my dinner in 2013 when I was president, he was doing his jokes, and I heard one about Roger Ailes that I thought, our then chairman, who's since passed, of course, and I winced because I thought it was kind of a low blow at Roger. But I said, if I get up there and tell Conan, don't use that joke, I'm going to look like a hypocrite as a supporter of the First Amendment. He used the joke, and it really didn't make a big deal, so I'm glad I didn't make anything of it. But Margaret's right. You can't, as a supporter of the First Amendment, censor the comedian, but maybe you could pick one who's going to be, is going to be more fair, not somebody who's basically part of the resistance and has all of Hollywood saying, you go, girl. This is absurd. But save the dinner because my year we raised over $100,000 for scholarships for young journalists. There's a real mission here. Get it back to that instead of this silliness. Get it back to that. So don't end it, mend it.
It's become way too partisan. Let's see what they do. All right, Eddie, thank you very much.
Thanks for having
me. Thanks, Ed.
Jay Leno would solve everything. I'm going to try to book him.
Okay. I've seen Jay Leno do it twice.
Where's your phone?
It's great, right?